Hey guys, this story is about me growing up in the hood being poor. Let me tell you a little bit about my parents. Well, them growing up, my dad at first stayed in and out of prison. My mom, she was just kind of innocent, but she'll do anything my dad asked her. My dad was always drinking and smoking and doing drugs growing up. So my little old mom just followed behind him. I can remember as a baby riding in the car with my mom and dad. They were good people. Now, don't get me wrong. They took care of me and my sisters and brothers over the years. We never had to really be homeless or nothing like that. Sometimes we had to sleep in the car, but that's a different little story. I can remember being in the back seat. I think I only had like diapers and stuff on. This is back in the day when you can just jump around in your back seat while you're riding around, eating McDonald's and not having a care in the world. And my mom and dad was running around trying to make money to have us a place to stay, a place to eat all the time. Because my dad didn't have a job. He was called a junk hunter back then. He used to hunt junk. Well, also we lived in a place called Cabbage Town, where a lot of times we stayed with my grandmother and grandfather in Cabbage Town. And who don't know, Cabbage Town is a white ghetto. It's a white ghetto. It's a hood. You had people on the corner street selling drugs all the time, drinking, smoking. You had junkies. You had street walkers, if you know what I mean, street walkers. And in Cabbage Town too, also, all the houses was real close together, like really close. Like you could throw a rock and hit it. I mean, it was just that close. We didn't have no front yard, no backyard, or nothing. All the houses were close together. And me and my mom and dad and all stayed in this place in Cabbage Town called Ty Street. There was one little dirt road on Ty Street. It wasn't paved or nothing. It was 3 houses on that street. Actually, our house had the side yard and the backyard. I think we were about the only house in Cabbage Town to have that. If you had that, you was good. A lot of times, us kids running around, we would run around in the streets and going to the park and doing our little thing. But we always had to be home before dark, right before the street lights come on. Not what our parents back then would give us. But this is the kind of lifestyle I was used to. I was used to walking down the road, seeing people selling drugs, drinking, fighting, fussing, some people getting shot, killed, and this is a white neighborhood in Cabbage Town, and it's called Cabbage Town. And that's the way I was raised. I was used to it. It was like normal to me. Somebody else new coming around would be like, "Oh God, did you see that?" I'm like, "See what? They just fighting out there. They do that all the time." It was just, everything was normal. The selling the drugs, the drinking, the fighting, seeing drugs, seeing people get their head busted. I mean, all kind of stuff like that. I've seen it all my life. Only thing I can say is, over the years, we always did have a place to stay. Even if it was with my grandmother. I mean, my grandmother and father used to take care of us, which my mom and dad never left us there by ourselves or nothing. We was always with them. Especially me, I was the baby. But I can also say this. I've never seen my mom and dad do drugs, ever. They have done it, and we know they was doing it, but we've never seen it. They never done it in front of us. They always made us leave the room. I know that don't make it better, but they never done it in front of us. And also, you got people that's strung out, or you got people lives on it every day. My parents was the type that my mom would do her one and then clean the whole house all day long. We mess up dirty dishes. She'll go clean them up. She'll sweep the floor. She'll clean the whole house. My dad, he would go out, and he was a junk hunter, like I said. He would go out, find junk, come back, fix it up or fix it or whatever he had to do, and he would sell it for the day and make money for us to eat or pay the rent, whatever it was. I've never done without nothing growing up, even though they were on drugs. I've always had what the other kids had. When they had go-karts and stuff, my dad and them would make sure I had one. I always had good Christmases. Now, we did move house to house to house because sometimes, like, we couldn't come up with the rent. They would owe rent and stuff. we would have to move to a new house. But we always moved around, but we always had a place to stay. So really, in my eyes, I had good parents. My parents loved me to death. They loved me and my sisters and brothers and everyone. We was a loving family. Now, it might be people out there like y'all, like, oh, y'all used to live like that? That's like bad. Like, we was poor people, man. We was always poor. My mom and dad and them couldn't read or write. I couldn't read or write. I mean, my sisters and brothers, they were a little older, so they was already moved out time I was growing up. But I lived in the neighborhood where me and my friends would run around, fight, and all that, and it was natural. But, you know, I had some all right friends. But we still would do the day-and-day tasks. We would go, you know, back in the day, we used to go to the park, play baseball, football, you know, tag football or real football, baseball, swing, do backflips. We used to do everything growing up. It ain't like it is these days. My mom and dad made me go to school every day like I was supposed to. You know, they made sure I was in school. If I wasn't in school, I would get a blistering by a hickory or a paddle or a belt. And if I got it from my mom and that wasn't good enough, my dad would do it. And then me growing up, going to school, I started hanging out with some of the wrong crowds. I started doing some of the same things they was doing and stuff. And then my life kind of got worse at first. That's on a different story though. But I'm going to cut this off. If y'all like this story and you want me to finish, stay tuned to part 2 tomorrow.